Hello, and welcome to the Art of Spiritual Sleep. My name is Wendy Rosenthal. I am here with my co-host, Kabbalistic sleep and dream expert, above all, better than all, Mordechay Balas. How are you,
Thank
Mordechay?
you. Thank you. I'm great. Great. What a weekend. Ready
Yeah.
for this coming week to get to the next level. The weekend that is ahead of us, the weekend that we just had. I mean, time flies anyway. It's already Wednesday, but I'm very excited to be with you today, with everyone that is listening, everyone that is watching. And how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. I
That's
agree.
great.
It feels like a kind of an elevated week in a lot of ways. I don't know why, but it is. And I'm very excited to be here. Each week when we come to you, we are here to help you better your sleep and better your dreams through revealing the knowledge of sleep and dreams from the Kabbalistic wisdom, from the Kabbalistic perspective. Everybody in the world dreams, everybody in the world sleeps, but everybody in the world does not understand the power that you have when you harness your sleep and your dreams to elevate your awakened day. And that's what this podcast is about. And we're very excited that you're here this week. And this episode is the last in our season. I think we're in season 3. We're ending season
Right.
3, actually.
Right.
And it's also kind of the end of a deeper dive into the realm of sleep symbols. So we wanted to kind of twist things around today, turn them upside down, make this a little bit of a different episode. And so we are calling it the Sleep Symbol Boost. What does that mean? Well, this episode is pretty much going to be all about something to sleep on that will help you to enhance the clarity of the sleep symbols that come to you in your dreams, so that you can more easily either interpret them yourselves or have them interpreted so that they're more meaningful. And so this episode is really going to be just talking about that specifically. Okay. I love a twist. I love a good twist, Mordecai. I want to remind everybody that we always love to see your comments. So if you have any questions or comments that you want to make, please do so in the comment section of whatever social media or podcast platform you are hearing us or seeing us on. All right. I don't want to waste too much time with all of my business. Let's do the Sleep Symbol Boost.
So first of all, I want to take a moment. Thank you, Wendy. I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you that is listening, that is watching, that is following us, because since you have been applying what we share with you, and it doesn't mean you have to apply everything at once, you can add as you go, as long as you keep on track on it, that's fine with us. I'm just filled with appreciation. I want to take this moment to really thank all of you, because simply our sleep, I don't know about you, Wendy, but my sleep has gotten so much better. Not that it wasn't good, it was great, but now it's even higher and higher levels, because every time that you improve your sleep, that you improve your dreams, because I was part of your journey, I am part of your journey, in that sense, I'm also getting that energy. It's like a candle that leads another candle. So, and this is also for you. When you share this podcast, when you share this vidcast, however, on whatever platform, know this, that every person that was inspired to better their sleep, better their dreams, because of you sharing with them, you're also going to get that light as well.
Well, I wanted to share something. I know I might be slightly biased, but Mordechay knows, and maybe many of our listeners know, that, of course, I try all of the exercises and all of the teachings that Mordechay gives. I try and put as much as I can into practice, and I pick the ones that resonate with me. And it was funny, Mordechay, we were talking with somebody the other day, and they asked me if my sleep had gotten better, or has it worked for me? And I said it was really interesting, because what I was trying to work on now was enhancing my clarity in the dreams. I was working more on my dreams, because I don't often remember my dreams, and I really wanted to amp that up. And it's funny that you're saying this, because as we're at the end of this series of sleep symbol, I can honestly report, from my heart, that in the last, I don't know, couple weeks, I'm remembering more dreams. I'm seeing more in my dreams. And so for sure, I'm here to tell you that you are all helping me very much. And I'm very grateful as well, because when I set that objective and all of a sudden it's starting to happen because of the things that we're learning, but also because I'm sharing with you guys, it's really amazing. So I highly recommend sharing this with those you feel that need this help.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you for sharing.
Mm.
And also one more thing, we got your feedback about, because we did one episode for kids, like Art of Spiritual Sleep for kids. We got your feedback about doing Art of Spiritual Sleep for mid-age, for the golden age, because yes, sleep is different as we grow old. Maybe we'll also do an episode for teenagers, but or sleep, Art of Spiritual Sleep for millennials. So don't worry, we got your feedback. We're keeping it in mind to have at least one episode about the different ages and how sleep corresponds to them. So now back to what we started today, which is the idea really of a Kabbalistic technique that stems from a very powerful Kabbalistic meditation that the Kabbalists used to do on a daily basis. And it's the idea that just like in our mind, and our mind is comprised out of the, if we're looking at the spiritual structure, our brain, our mind is structured in the way of the 10 Sefirot, the 10 emanations, on how the force of creation flows from that energy, and it comes down until it fully manifests as a thought, as an idea, as a dream. Now, usually, we already covered this before, that usually a dream that is from the level of providence with symbols comes to us from the upper worlds, from the force of creation, through the angel Gabriel, and we might discover one more angel that is associated with that later on. Gabriel gives it to the soul, and our soul gives it to our brain. And as we wake up, we have actually the brain puts it in a form of symbols so we can relate to that. But we never had the recursive way, going backwards, which is what the Kabbalists would do throughout the day. So it's sort of funny because throughout the day, the Kabbalists would climb in the spiritual levels within their brain, within their mind, climbing in the Sefirot, climbing in the different realms, in the different spiritual realms. And when they would go to sleep, it would be the opposite. Meaning, yes, they already did the climbing when you get to the level of dreams, but then the way the dream comes down is actually a download. So what we're going to do today, what we're going to speak about today, what we're going to cover is more of what the Kabbalists used to do, and they still do, every single day to do this elevation, and we're going to use it in a form of our sleep. So as a preparation for our sleep, and this is something that I've been using for years, and for me, I feel great appreciation for the gift that I received to share this with you, from my teachers, for my guidance, to give you a practical tool that you don't need to be like super spiritual, high elevated individual to practice. It's almost like a game. And what this game does is, imagine, like, let's say, right, the dream comes from the force of creation through Gabriel, through your soul to the brain. Imagine we are rewinding this. So what we're going to do is bridge between our awake time, which is we make the effort to elevate during our awake time, and between a sleep time, which we already elevated, and now we are downloading. So we want to have a sort of a bridge that bridges between night and day. And it's also because you are practicing connecting to symbols while you are awake, that is going to strengthen the symbols in your dreams.
Okay, so just to kind of
Yes.
Bring it down very quickly. So what we're going to do is what we're trying to do is utilize symbols, or the symbols that we see in our dreams, use them and be actually kind of more in control, not more in control, but actually use them as a tool so that we can more easily download the information that comes to us through our dreams. Is that kind of a simple way of saying it?
Right. So imagine, let's say I will tell you right now, Wendy, what I'm about to tell you is really important. Pay attention. So you already more, let's say, naturally more alert. This is important.
Right.
As opposed to, I would say the same thing, the same important message for you, but I wouldn't pre-phrase it. What we're doing with this exercise is we are pre-phrasing our symbols.
Got it.
So when the soul elevates and then the message comes back to the brain is already more receptive to the symbols. It's more on, it's more alert in that sense.
That's a great analogy. So like pre-framing or pre-phrasing so that we're more open and using the symbols that you might see anyway. Okay.
And that's boosting the energy of your symbols, because you're not just falling asleep and, que sera, sera, whatever will be. Let's see if I have something tonight. No, I'm ready for the message.
Right.
And we had different things that we have done before, whether it's preparing something to write down or to log. You're showing the universe, you're showing the force of creation that you're ready to receive. This is an exercise that I'm very happy to share this with you.
Well, it sounds like it's really proactive. I mean, not that placing a journal by your bed isn't proactive, but it sounds as if it's like, again, it's something that you can actually impact, right? You're not just passively waiting. That's what I mean. It's very action oriented. I like that. I'm an action oriented person.
Yeah. Okay. Very simple, very easy, and not complicated. And as always, practice makes perfect. Maybe in the beginning, it's not going to work that much. If you are more like, you like to use your imagination, if you're more of a person that likes to, wander in their mind, sail in their mind to different places, if you're more of a person that is quick to come up with ideas, you have like quick energy, you're probably going to see the difference faster.
Okay. So don't give up for those of you who are not that.
Yeah. It still
works.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
But with everything, Mordechay, that you've given us, you have to be consistent to a certain degree. You can't try it once and say, oh, it does or doesn't work. It really is about picking those things that really resonate and using them in a consistent manner. And that's when you start to see the shift, right?
Right.
Okay, so hang in there. Keep it up. You're doing great.
Yeah, and just another thing, I personally never use drugs of any kind. Maybe one time when I needed some painkillers for a procedure that I went through, but otherwise, I haven't used anything proactively, at least. And I can tell you that this is, from what people are sharing, this is as close as it can get in many ways, in a natural way, to experience a sort of an elevation before you go to sleep. Okay?
That's very exciting.
So you ready? Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so you might have played as a child or maybe even as an adult, like association game, right? That's how you say it, association?
Yeah. Word
Right,
association.
so association game. Let's say I say right now, Wendy, umbrella.
Right.
What comes to your mind?
Rain.
Rain. And by the way, it doesn't have to be so connected, right? It can be actually not connected. I would say right after you say rain, I would say a door.
Okay. Oh, you want me to answer? Door.
Yeah.
House.
House, okay? Now, so what we're going to do is very similar to association game. And in a way, what it does, as we already said, it's the bridge, but it's allowing the soul through different symbols, because a door can be a symbol, an umbrella can be a symbol in a dream. Through different symbols, it's allowing the soul to climb faster as we go to sleep. So it's almost like I can picture it in my mind. It's like those mountains or those facilities that you do like rock climbing. And there are different,
Right, climbing wall.
right, different places where you can put your feet on, you can place your hands. So you have some sort of like a choice, and that's how you climb. It's not like direct, it's like this, sort of like this, right? But it's in the same direction going up.
Listening to this on the podcast, it's Mordecai is using his hands to say it's like windy is a good way. It's not a straight.
Thank you.
So it's, you know, an indirect route, an indirect route.
So this is how the game works, right? Because until now we already explained like what it does, but this is how the game works in a practical way. So what you do is you lay down after you did whatever preparation you usually do before you go to bed, and you lay down on the favorite position, whatever works for you. You close your eyes. Now, if you remember, in one of the episodes, we did a special meditation that actually shoots the soul faster. So this is not a meditation, but it's an exercise that does a very similar thing to that meditation with the Tetragrammaton, with the Yud Ke Vav Ke, the most powerful name of God. But this is without the Hebrew letters, it's just with symbols. So you close your eyes and you allow, it's not about thinking, you're not thinking. You allow yourself to be in a mode of receiving, and whatever comes, it's almost like surrendering. Whatever comes to your mind, the first picture, the first symbol that comes to your mind, a boat, you're not thinking about it. Whatever you see, image, like the first image that comes, great. And from that, you allow the image to come. You see the image, and then you allow the next image to come. So from a boat, it can suddenly be a bed. It can suddenly be a person. It can suddenly be an angel. It can suddenly be a car. And it can change images, can change scenes. You're in the ocean. You're climbing on stairs. You're now exercising on the elliptical. It doesn't have to be connected.
Okay.
Your brain knows how to do this. I don't have another words to say association, but it's not the regular association we're familiar with. It's just somehow the brain links those scenarios. Let them be. So you allow yourself to almost watch a movie of different images that are not necessarily connected. But know this, that as you experience the images, your mind is elevating. Your soul is going higher.
Okay, so when you were playing the game with me and you were asking me a word, I was giving them back. And what you're saying is forget that. It is just allowing the images to come in. You don't have to do anything to make the association between them. You don't have
exactly.
to say,
no effort.
Okay.
No effort at all. Actually, the effortless is what creates the scenery, because I'm now entering the cinema. I don't know what the movie will be like because I've never watched that movie.
Mhm.
And I allow myself to experience any image that comes to the screen. For people that are more visual, it might be even easier. It might be for people that are more auditory, it might be with sounds. I hear this sound, now I hear that sound. It doesn't have to be a particular thing. And by the way, this is very helpful. I find it very helpful for people that have difficulty falling asleep. Because what it does, it releases, it's another technique to release the sandbags, the things that you're holding on to throughout the day. Now, I want to make something clear. If you're going to sleep, if you put in your head, you're laying on the bed, you put in your head on the pillow, and now you're thinking about the worries of the day, that's not the elevations we're talking about. You know, oh my God, I'm going to pay this bill, or what's going to be with this trade, or what's going to be with the discussion that I had with this person that I love. It wasn't resolved. For this, we have other things to do. I want to make sure we're clear about this, that this is a way to clear the sandbags, elevate faster, and also by practicing, experiencing symbols, images while you are, I would say, awake, but not that awake, you're already starting to elevate in the different levels, in the different frequencies. It's releasing everything that delays you from the mind. Now, you might think that this is not connected. You know, oh, I saw a boat, and then I saw this guy, and he was doing something negative, and what's the connection? There is a connection. Your brain, and especially your soul, they know what images does it take to detox from the experience of the day. Or if you had a wonderful day that you were sharing and you were proactive and you were listening to your soul, then you don't need as much of a detox. You're going to experience wonderful images, wonderful pictures. Right? So it's also in correlation to how much you are invested in your body consciousness versus your soul consciousness.
So it's interesting to me. It sounds a little bit like it's kind of a reverse meditation, because like when you meditate, oh, excuse me, when you meditate,
bless you.
thank you. They say if things come into your head, you're supposed to let them pass through and just like leave.
Yes.
It sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that what you're supposed to do is let the image come in and not keep it, but hold it long enough, like acknowledge it. I know you said not to do anything, but just, it's not like letting something just pass through you. It's like, oh, it's a boat. Oh, it's a cat. Oh, it's a whatever.
Yeah, you allow yourself to experience it. Yeah, it is in a way a reverse meditation, because in a meditation, you go high, you go higher in the different realms. And then when you reach the higher realm, you let an experience, you may be talking to something or someone, or you're receiving some messages. Here, let me start with the messages, and that will cause me to elevate.
As a person who struggles to meditate, I like this idea.
Yeah.
Great.
And this is the reverse meditation, where you do close your eyes anyways, because you're going to sleep.
Well, I have a couple more questions for you. First of all, you kind of said this, but I want to make sure I'm clear. You've given us a lot of different exercises that we can do right before we go to sleep. So is this something that you do on top of those other things? So for example, would you still do the meditation you were talking about with the Yud-K, Vav-K, and then you do this? Or is this is there a timing thing? Is this the thing you should do right before you go to sleep? That's my first question.
So I'll give you an example, right? Which this example will show you the answer. That in a day that I'm more invested in the physical reality, not necessarily in a bad way. Like, you need to pay the taxes. So you need to go over the taxes, even if it's with your accountant. You need to do it. You cannot say, no, I'm only investing in my soul consciousness. But a day that you had these kind of things that needed to be done, you pay the bill, you took care of this thing for your child, whatever that is, it was physicality. I'm not talking about worries, which is a different story, right? This is also great. But in a day that I was more invested in the physicality because I needed to do it. We still live, thank God, in the physical reality. That's a day you want to use this exercise. In a day that you experienced in general more elevation, more spiritual experiences, you were meditating anyway, you connected with the Zohar, the main text of Kabbalah, you had a Kabbalah class, you received wonderful messages from someone that you met, maybe it's your Kabbalah teacher or your mentor or whoever that is. That's a day that you can reserve this particular exercise to another day.
Okay.
But you might want to use more of the Yud Ke Vav Ke, the Tetragrammaton, the other ones. Now, one more thing about how long someone might ask, how long should I do it for?
That's not what I was going to ask, but go ahead. I think that's a good question.
Yes. I just got this question. So the answer is you do it until you wake up in the morning.
Okay. So it kind of was my question. So it's something that you can fall asleep to.
You'll fall asleep to it. You won't remember the next image. And the next time you'll wake up in the morning. And for some of us, it might take a bit longer. But usually, as you practice it more and more, it goes very fast. It can be minutes.
Is this something that you can use? For example, there are people, and you were talking about various ages, who do wake up more in the middle of the night for sometimes physical reasons, can you use it again when you've maybe woken up in the middle of the night?
That's a good question. The answer is, in most of the cases, no.
Okay.
Because this is used to bridge between the day and the night.
Okay.
So it really depends how long after you fell asleep did you wake up. So if it's, let's say, 30 minutes after you fell asleep, you needed to go to the bathroom, so you woke up. Happens, right? So at that time, at that moment, you can use it. But if it's already after hour and a half, meaning that you already went through the sleep cycle, the first sleep cycle, we said it takes around 90 minutes. Let's add another up to 30 minutes of going to sleep. So so let's say you go to sleep at 10 and wake up at 12. You already did, first of all, it's 2 hours. You already did the sleep cycle. Plus 2 hours before midnight, it's like 4 hours. So I wouldn't use this exercise. I mean, you can, there's no harm in it. It's just not going to be as effective because you already released the stuff that you want to release. But it's totally doable, especially if there's something that bothers you, that makes you restless. Something that is in your heart, that it's not quiet, something that is in your mind, that is bothering you. It's in the background. Maybe something that is going on at work, maybe a worry that you have. So yes, you need to feel it. There's no, sometimes it's not black or white. Sometimes it's just gray in the middle. So
okay.
But in general, there's no need to, it doesn't create the same effect if you're doing it in the middle of the night after you woke up, let's say 2 hours after.
Okay, great. So let's get a little practical, unless there's more you need to share about how to do the exercise. So, okay, so I do this exercise. What effect am I going to see? How am I going to know I'm doing it the right way or that it's actually working the way it's supposed to?
So, everyone is different and everyone has different experiences. So it's not like, we write in the book, right? Oh, if you had exactly this experience, that's this is it. You nailed it. You did the right thing. It's more of how fast, and this is something you can use, right? So let's say you can journal it. Today I went to bed at 10:30. It took me approximately, from what I can remember, roughly 20 minutes to fall asleep. Now I'm using the technique that we shared today. Okay, now as opposed to this, how long does it take me in average to fall asleep with this? And those of you that practice it, you will know it. You will know it because you will fall asleep faster. You will fall asleep faster. And as I said before, I haven't used drugs, but from what people that I shared this with using, they say it's not like hallucination, but it's very, it's a trip. It's a sort of like a trip that you do in the mind. It's a sort of a journey that you do with the soul together with the brain. It's a mystical experience. So you will feel it. You will feel that it's different than just hitting your pillow and going to sleep.
So you might feel, sorry to try and get granular, but when you say something like that, to me, I'm equating it to like when people take drugs to have those elevated experiences. It's like they're wide awake, but yet they feel like they're someplace different. Is it something that is, it happened, you see it reflected in your dreams, that experience, that elevated and different experience? Is that in your dreams, or is it possibly while you're still awake?
The
While you're
dreams
doing the
of
exercise?
providence, yeah, the dreams of providence will become stronger as a result because you're practicing it just before you go to sleep.
Got it.
And you also increase the chances that the dreams with the providence, the dream of symbols, will become more meaningful, more enhanced, more frequent. You'll be able to remember those more because you're more alert, you're more receptive. It's like your antennas are open
That's great.
to receive it.
That's what I was asking about practically. Like, what do you expect to see? And I think that the idea that you might have more dreams of providence, or the symbols might be more clear, or you'll wake up remembering them better and being able to even, assess, like, because you've talked so much, especially in this series, about, knowing when the symbol or the dream is a real dream or true dream, that what you're seeing is not just kind of the effects of your day. So it's really useful to know how to connect those things, right, from this exercise.
Right. And keep in mind that we spoke about the four categories of the four kingdoms, the inanimate objects, the plants, the animals, and the humans, that you might also experience because you're more connected to one or the other. You might experience, as you exercise, more of that particular one which you're more connected to. You might experience those in particular. So the fact that I had this experience when I used this exercise and you had a completely different one, it doesn't mean that what I did or what you did is wrong. There's no wrong here.
Right.
You just start, you hit the pillow, and you pretty much invite, I'm ready for the first image. And the rest, you just go with the flow. You just go with the flow. You don't fight it. You don't think about it. You just enjoy whatever comes your way. And if it doesn't seem so positive, like it looks like a negative entity, or, cleansing. It's beautiful. It's great energy. It's cleansing me, detoxing me so I can have even a greater sleep. Don't fight it. Just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Even in a roller coaster, you have like sudden moves and you have like more relaxed time. It's a roller coaster. You have no idea. You've never been on this ride and you'll never be on that kind of ride exactly again. So enjoy that ride.
Yeah, I also love the analogy to it's a movie, right? So you don't know what movie, it's like going to a multiplex and just having somebody say, go into theater number 4. and you don't know what the
Yes.
movie is, right?
Right.
And sometimes the movie might be scary, and sometimes the movie might be a comedy, and sometimes the might, so it's like if you come at it from that perspective, that's what you're experiencing, right?
Yeah, and I can tell you, Wendy, I just saw this movie. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. It's really unbelievable. You got to go see it. But as much as I can share with you about the movie, until you go and experience that movie,
Right.
there's not much that we can talk about. But then once you watch the movie, oh my God, yeah, now I know. We have greater affinity. So in a similar way, you might be listening, watching this, and like saying, huh? What is he talking about, right? But once you really experience it, wow.
Awesome. All right. I usually transition here usually I transition to the sleep symbol of the week and then something to sleep on. But this week, all we're doing is the sleep symbol of the week, because this has been one big something to sleep on for everybody.
Yes.
It's been very, very, very interesting, and really, again, I'm really connecting with it because of the challenge I have in meditating. So I'm excited to try this so that I can really like reverse meditate, which makes me very happy. All right.
Perfect.
What is the sleep symbol of the week?
So the sleep symbol of the week is very appropriate to our episode, which is a ladder. And we know specifically about a ladder from the Bible, from the biblical story of Jacob the patriarch, that is going to sleep in the middle of the road, also known in a place called Bethel, which later on is actually where the Holy Temple in Jerusalem was established, in the same spot that Jacob had the dream. In the dream, he sees angels going up and down in a ladder, and the force of creation is speaking to him, giving him a direct message. Obviously, that was a dream of a prophecy and not providence, but still we're going to borrow the symbol of the ladder for today. So the ladder represents elevation. Simple as it is, you use a ladder to go from one place to another. So if you see yourself in a dream, let's say climbing a ladder, that shows you going to your next spiritual level. If an individual sees himself going down the ladder, they're going to experience, it's a warning sign for experiencing a spiritual fall. Okay, so, and everything that is related to the ladder, someone brought you a ladder. Who brought you the ladder? They can support you in going to the next level. A ladder is broken. So that means that the individual had the potential to go to the next level, but there's a disconnect between themselves, their consciousness, the higher self, their soul, and it's important for them to establish that connection. And here you can also combine different things. Let's say the color, because we already spoke about colors before, and it's really amazing because we learn each word of the language by itself, but once you start to get the vocabulary, you can get to actually understand the whole sentence, right? Like you were riding on a horse, and then you stepped down, and then you went on a ladder. It's a whole different meaning, right? Or you jump from the horse to the ladder, right?
So a quick question about this. So when you say, is the ladder only about going to your next level in a spiritual way, or is like if you're coming down the ladder, could it mean something connected with a physical, something that's going on in your world?
So it depends if there are any other symbols that are important. So for example, let's say I climbed the ladder in my dream, and at the top of the ladder, in the attic, there was a chair, very beautiful chair, and I sat on the chair. So we already know that the chair is associated with money. Or I climb on the ladder and I saw a snake, and by the time I reached the top of the ladder, the snake bit me, and that means I'm going to experience an elevation that will also end up with getting double the money that I thought I'm going to get.
Okay.
So once you combine other symbols, it simply means elevation, but it also depends, usually spiritual elevation, but it also depends on what are the other symbols that are in the dream besides the ladder.
And it's kind of like we were talking about in the episode about decoding the inanimate objects category, that
Right.
they're very, very straightforward. It is what it is.
Yes. Yes.
And so in this
Thank you for remembering.
Well, and if you haven't seen that episode, you might want to go back and listen to it, because
yes,
it is very it's very interesting how, again, it's just reinforced that an inanimate object is what it is in a way.
Yeah.
It's just all the other things that are attached to it that make it more.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Mordechay, thank you again for this fantastic insight and very, I don't want to keep using the word exciting, but I'm going to say it anyway, very exciting exercise that we're all going to be able to try. We really want to hear.
I'm really excited for everyone, because this is it's a big one. It's a big one if you really practice it. And I'm saying some people it might take longer. Some people it might be very fast. After the first time, you're already like, wow, what a night. I slept so good, It's just amazing.
Okay, and we want to hear from you. From those of you who've tried it, let us hear your stories. Share it with other people, because my guess is that other people are having similar experiences. And whenever we share as kind of in a collective situation and in a community, that just enhances everybody's sleep, as Mordechay was saying at the beginning of this episode. So with that, I want to remind everybody that you can find all of the materials, all of the Something You Sleep On, and the Language of Dreams on all of our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Art of Spiritual Sleep. You can also find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms. So please check us out there, subscribe. And again, if you want to better your own sleep without having to do too much work, by sharing this with others and helping others to enhance their sleep and better their dreams, you're really helping yourself.
Subscribe and save.
Exactly. Subscribe and save. I love that. Also, if you are interested in learning more about a dream interpretation or the Art of Spiritual Sleep program, which is a one-on-one program with Mordechay, you can find out more about that at, this is the email, artofspiritualsleep@kabbalah.com. So please reach out to us there. And again, if you have any questions or comments, we do check these throughout the week, and we're happy to respond to you. We hope you have a fantastic, incredible night's sleep using this tool, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Have a nice trip in your dreams.
Bye-bye.